Welcome Top News Today.
Alan Dershowitz went head-to-head with former student and CNN contributor Jeffrey Toobin on Wednesday night. Anderson Cooper 360 on his statement that President Trump was correct to say there should have never been a special counsel investigation. Dershowitz's comments received praise from the president in the form of a tweet quoting what he said about the appointment of Robert Mueller as special counsel in lack of probable cause for collusion, a crime, or obstruction of justice. However, on CNN's AC 360, Toobin accused his former teacher of carrying Trump's water and said he doesn't recognize him anymore. Dershowitz criticized Toobin for not being principled and accused him of not taking a non-partisan approach like himself. How has this come about that in every situation over the past year you have been carrying water for Donald Trump? This is not who you used to be. And you are doing this over and over again in situations that are just obviously ripe with conflict of interest. And it's just like what's happened with you, a distraught Toobin asked the Harvard law professor. Dershowitz did not take the strike lightly and pointed out numerous times he has disagreed with Trump and how consistent his position has been on a special counsel. I attack President Trump for banning of Muslims, Dershowitz said. I attack President Trump for leaking material about to Russia. I have attacked President Trump for many things. I'm not carrying his water. I'm saying exactly the same thing I've said for 50 years. Jeffrey, you ought to know that. You were my student, the teacher reminded the student. Dershowitz called out Toobin for not being principled and turning against him, like others, for having the same position for Trump that he had for Bill Clinton. I have never deviated from this. I have never deviated from this point. The fact that it applies to Trump now, rather than applying to Bill Clinton, is why people like you have turned against me. Don't you understand that principle requires bipartisanship than non-partisanship, and that's who I am and I've always been, he said. I am a civil libertarian. Civil libertarians criticize the law, Dershowitz added. But you're criticizing it in the context of position after position that is in support of exoneration of Donald Trump, Toobin said. Dershowitz said Toobin is accusing him of the crime of not being partisan. The professor said he has been utterly and completely consistent and told Toobin he has not. I have no position if Donald Trump is exonerated or not, Dershowitz responded. If the evidence is against him, I will be the first person to call him out on it. I'm asking for non-criminalization of political differences, narrow construction of the criminal law, civil liberties to apply equally to Democrats and Republicans. What you accuse me of is not being partisan. You want me to have a different standard against Donald Trump than I did in relation to the Clintons and with everybody else. I have said the same thing about Bob Menendez. I said the same thing about everybody who has been prosecuted. I'm saying the same thing about Benjamin Netanyahu in Israel. I think there is criminalization of political differences there. I have been utterly and completely consistent and non-partisan, and Jeffrey, you haven't, Dershowitz slammed Toobin. Trump's tweets, special counsel is told to find crimes, whether a crime exists or not. I was opposed to the selection of Mueller to be special counsel. I'm still opposed to it. I think President Trump was right when he said there never should have been a special counsel appointed because Donald J. Trump at Real Donald Trump March 21, 2018, there was no probable cause for believing that there was any crime, collusion or otherwise, or obstruction of justice. So stated by Harvard law professor Alan Dershowitz. Donald J. Trump at Real Donald Trump March 21, 2018.